So welcome to a brand new webisode, and I couldn't tell you the last time I've actually recorded one of these. The reason for the webisode, though, today is that I'm actually thinking that what I might start doing is perhaps posting new webisodes every day on the blog page instead of writing the blog. Now, don't get me wrong, I like writing the blog, as Andrew would tell you. No, I do on occasion. The problem is a lot of times there's a lack of inspiration, and I don't like putting things up on the website just for the sake of putting things up on the website because I feel like I need to. There's no benefit for you if you go to the website to read it because I'm only putting, half an effort into it, and I'm not getting a whole lot out of it either. So I'm trying to treat this more like I treat my show. And when it comes to my show, I don't talk about things unless they're things that I genuinely care about and genuinely want to talk about. I'm not going to discuss an issue that I don't care about. So I thought, maybe it's better if we start doing video webisodes, and I'll put those up as daily blogs. Now we'll see how long that lasts. I'm actually in my new office in the house that we're now renting. Behind me, these posters and this piece of art is counting as shades right now because the blinds aren't put up, and I don't think the neighbors want to see me in here working on the show in my PJs at 3 o'clock in the morning. I do have something I do want to mention, though, for today's webisode. There's a story up, and it's something we'll talk about on today's show. That would be Friday's show, because right now it's Thursday. I'm getting ready to go to the Neil Bortz event at La Mariposa. Are you confused yet? I'm doing these a day ahead of time. Anyways, there's a story here. With revolutionaries looking on, teachers take kids on a protest trip. So this group of teachers in Los Angeles and students came to Arizona to protest 1070. Their demands, stop the criminalization of immigrant families, exclamation point. No more deportations and raids, exclamation point. Stop using police to enforce immigration laws, exclamation point. Stop Arizona now, exclamation point. And pass a just and humane immigration reform now, exclamation point. I don't want to break down sort of the idiocy of those demands. The one that makes me laugh, though, is stop Arizona now. I'm not sure what that means. But anyways, the point that I want to make is this. When it comes to SB 1070, the fight against enforcing our illegal immigration laws, you have three different types of people that you're dealing with. And as I've mentioned on the show, before I explain those three types of people, there is this bizarre vortex of stupid going on because there are a majority of people, both conservatives and liberals, and pardon my Twitter and my Gmail's going off on my computer. There are a majority of conservatives and liberals who support enforcement of our illegal immigration laws, and more specifically SB 1070. And then you have those within, and mostly on the liberal side, who don't. And so there's a conflict going on even within the factions as well. And you have some of those on the conservative and GOP side who don't support it too. But in my opinion, there are three different types of people who are speaking out against SB 1070. You have those who actually want to see a form of communism, socialism, Marxism here in the United States. They don't want to see a border. They want it to be open borders. They want to see social justice. They want to see equal pay across the board for everybody. They don't like free market principles, and they want to see amnesty for illegals. You have politicians who want many of the same things, but not for the same reasons. Most of the politicians that are against 1070 that don't want to see harsh border enforcement and want to see amnesty, it's not because they have this grandiose vision of socialism, Marxism, or whatever you want to call it, but it's because they see it as power and votes. They want to continue the influx of illegals and then provide them amnesty so that they'll become dependent on the government that they're trying to grow and make bigger and bigger every day. And they'll continue to vote Democratic because they're getting handouts and they're being catered to by the government. The third is the most interesting to me, and those are people that simply want to be a part of something. They're probably predominantly liberals, predominantly younger people who just want to be a part of some kind of movement, and they actually enjoy. They actually enjoy going out and protesting this. It's fun for them. Sure, they get angry. Sure, they get frustrated when they're out on the streets with their signs, but it is also something that they enjoy doing in their anger and frustration. They are part of something. It's what movements are. You know, people that get involved in the Tea Party movement, I think generally speaking, enjoy being a part of that because they're around like-minded people. The same can be said for the idiots that are protesting 1070. They don't really understand it. They haven't read the bills. They don't understand the complexities of enforcing our laws and those free market principles that the other two that don't support, those other two groups that don't support 1070 are trying to support. They're simply pawns, and they're part of a group, and they feel like they belong. So when you grab these students, the other two groups, the open border crowd, if you will, and the politicians, utilize group number 3 because they're the most rambunctious, they're the most proactive, they're the most vocal, because they get into it. It's the same thing that happens with the ethnic studies. They use the kids because they know that they can influence the kids and they can brainwash the kids. I would hope that when those kids grow up, a majority of them would begin to realize just kind of how dumb it was that they got involved in these movements when they were younger, unless they sort of succumb to the rhetoric and the open border crowds and they begin to believe it, or they end up, you know, wanting the same thing in terms of, you know, social justice and whatnot. I'd like to believe that a majority of those people, when they actually go and work full-time in the workforce, say, they end up realizing, oh, wow, you know, free market principles are actually good and lower taxes are good because I get to keep more of my money. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's a hope. But it's good, in my opinion, to understand at least some of the dynamics of why this is happening and who these individuals are that are protesting this, that continue to get news coverage over and over again. And let's face it, the news likes to cover the anti-1070 more so than they do the pro-1070. And you're not seeing that sort of protesting for the bill as much. Sure, we've had some rallies in Phoenix, but a majority of us are sitting back and going, hey, you know what? It really is pretty simple. There's a reason for this law, and it's because we need to enforce our laws. It's not nearly as confusing as those other groups are making it. So I hope you enjoyed the webisode. Don't forget you can find us on email, justice@1041thetruth.com, Twitter, Jon, Jon Justice, and also Facebook, same thing, Jon, Jon Justice. And if you haven't signed up to be a part of the Jon Justice Show fan club, there's discussion boards. You can post discussions up there, talk with other listeners as well. We have events that we put up there. We try to be as active as we can on Facebook on the Jon Justice Show fan club page. Have a great weekend. I'll have a brand new webisode coming up on Monday, and again, that I'll record on Sunday because I'm going to do them ahead of time, not to make it more confusing. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening and supporting 1041 The Truth. Bye.